Chebe ya bonde energy ba mi sesa. Madoe masumonde dikati wo. Wanjala debu e koko biese. Miyango mi. Enemies will try to make you forget who you are.
Die beiden sind beste Freunde. Genauso wie du und Rudolf in diesem Alter waren.
Guten Tag, Kaiserin.
Ein perfekter, schwarzer deutscher Prinz. Würde das dir gefallen?
Yes, sir. I serve at the pleasure of the Kaiser.
Know that everything I did so that our people would be free.
What's the matter, Rudolf?
The Kaiser's like family. But raised as brothers to go against him.
Wilhelm is not your family. Your skin will always be the color of the rich Cameroonian soil. And they will always walk over it as if they own it.
Your family would rule under German protection. So why did you turn against us?
Your father's new ideas of independence are a cancer. I fear have infected you too.
Aber mit der Hinrichtung eines Jungen startest du einen Krieg.
Wir sind schon im Krieg.
They're inside the palace.
Feigling! Lass mich sofort frei!
Hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever live stream for our upcoming TV series, The German King. My name is Adetokumboh M'Cormack, and I'm the actor and creator of the series, and I'm joined by...
My name is Glenton Richards, and I am the writer and executive producer of the series.
We are so thrilled to have you join us today. This is very, very exciting. And The German King is a story about King Rudolf Douala Manga Bell and his epic journey to save the Cameroonian people from German colonial rule. And we've got a really big lineup today. We've got a few people joining us. We've got Jordan Harmon, who is the president of Angel Studios.
And he'll be joining us a little bit later. Yeah. We'll be doing this live stream for the next hour. And if you can, we'd love you to express your support, express your interest rather for this show. So if you can, just go to
angel.com/German King.
German King.
And it's right at the bottom of your screen. So angel.com/German King. We're just looking for people to express interest right now.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. We've had a couple of hundred people already express interest. So thank you so much to everybody who's gone online and who supported us. And feel free over the next hour and beyond to keep expressing interest. But once again, just go to angel.com/German King.
Yeah, and we'd love to get maybe at least 20 people to...
That'll be awesome. At least 20 people express interest. That'll be amazing. And maybe, I don't know, we'll sing or share a story. I think I will probably share a personal story.
Yes.
If we get 20 people or more to express interest over the course of this live stream, I will share a story.
Share like an embarrassing
story. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassing.
Exactly. 20 people drop express some interest, and we can end this program with a really funny story. I'm sure Audie's got plenty of embarrassing stories. So, yeah.
So tune in. That'll happen at the end of the show. So yeah, 20 people. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Got it.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this project because this is something that Audie has spoken to me about a while ago, and it's just a really interesting story. You know, it's a story that takes place largely in Africa, and I think it is something that is going to be just a really great TV series.
I think so. And also because so many people don't really know about African heroes. And they think the first person that comes to mind, I think, is Nelson Mandela. And so we're just excited to learn more. Yes, Jared, we're excited to let you know a lot more about the show. Once again, you can express interest by going to angel.com/The German King. But it's funny, like a lot of people, whenever you ask them, who's your favorite hero? They're like, Nelson Mandela. Yeah. And then who else? Like Black Panther. I'm like, that one's not real. You know? Yeah. So
we don't have a ton of notable African heroes.
We don't. Travis just Travis just expressed $1,000 of interest
That's
to the
amazing.
German King. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
Travis. Thank you for your
Kyrie
interest.
says, I can't wait for this show.
Adam Glenton, very proud of you. Thank you so much,
thank you,
John
thank
Harden.
you, yes.
Appreciate you. And Rose L just expressed $50 worth of interest.
That's amazing, yeah.
Thank you very much.
So, yeah. But yeah, you were talking about how like Nelson Mandela is really like the most notable African hero.
Yes. I mean, that's and what kind of whatever.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. Good old Black Panther.
Good old Black
yes,
Panther.
yes.
So
Exactly.
we're going to be showing you a real life story that took place over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And Rudolf is a forgotten hero and an incredible human being. And what he did, which we'll talk about a little later on in the live stream, but he did incredible things.
For sure. I was talking with Ade earlier, and I was just saying how this story is it's so epic, and it's true story, which is amazing. It's in some ways it's got a little bit of The Crown, it's got a little bit of Game of Thrones, minus the nudity.
But yeah.
But,
It's not that kind of show.
Not that
Family
kind of show,
friendly.
Yeah. But it's it's like The Crown meets Game of Thrones with a little bit of The Expanse kind of thrown in for good measure. So
For sure. But Glenton, so tell me about, first of all, let me just brag about Glenton for a quick second. When I first decided that I wanted to do this series, I thought, who can I get involved? I mean, it's epic. It involves so many different people and characters and worlds. And I was like, okay, what show do I love that is just a master at world building? And that show is, drumroll, The Expanse. So Glenton Richards was a writer of my favorite shows, The Expanse.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for that. It was so great working on that show, and and so when you told me about this story, I said, it has so many similarities to shows like The Expanse. You have obviously it's censored in Africa, but you've got the Germans, you've got Germany, you've got England. It's so many intricate parties and alliances and all that stuff, and so it's going to be a really fun project.
I think so. And there's so many different there's so many different worlds and so many different. The thing about the German King is I think a lot of people think they know about African history, right? Or even world history. But what we're giving is just a story that is so multifaceted, such a kaleidoscope of different stories, different heroes, unsung heroes, people that we didn't know that we weren't taught about in history. So in fact, that's part of the reason why I responded to this show. I fell in love with it because, I mean, as an actor, I grew up in Kenya, and in some ways I identified with Rudolf Douala Manga Bell because of the fact that I was born in Sierra Leone, I was raised in Kenya, in colonial rule. But basically I went to a private English school, but Kenya was a former English colony, and the history that we learned was very, well, as they always say, history was told by the winners, right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't know much about African history, and it took me coming to America and doing my own research to realize that, wait a minute, there is so much more about our history and where we came from. We have a rich culture. Thank you so much. Someone from Alabama just expressed interest. $1,000. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And as a kid, I didn't have heroes that I could look up to. I look at me. I would watch things like Batman, and I'd watch things like Superman, and and I'd be like,
That's also a gif of Ade's dance move.
That's right. So if you want to see me now,
Right,
I will do it. Hey, someone from Utah just expressed $500. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
But it was just so amazing to see that there's more to our history, and I would also see people like William Wallace and Braveheart, and what I would ride around on my imaginary horse and be like, they'll never take our freedom. And my dad must have been like, what are you doing? But I thought it was just so important as I got older to see myself represented in a way that I had never ever seen.
Yeah.
And a lot of myself and a lot of my peers would play doctors, would play gangsters and slaves, and I realized there's so much more to us as Africans and African actors and Africans in diaspora than just one narrative. We are not just slaves. We don't come from poverty and disease. There's so much more to us. And Rudolf Douala Manga Bell, when I started doing my research, I came across this incredible person who was a heroic figure. And I just thought that this story must be told.
Absolutely. Yeah, and actually to that, where you were talking about your education, it's like we grew up in I grew up in the States, and you grew up largely in Africa, but the stories about Africa is very like limited in like in both continents. It's like, you know, in the States, it feels like, you know, we learn about U.S. history, we learn a little bit about, you know, Europe and even Asia. Yeah. But it's like when it comes to Africa, it's like, and that's where the slaves came from. It's like, and so it's like, okay, is there anything else about Africa that we should know? And so like that's why I'm really excited about this project, because it's just like we get to learn a really interesting story about it, really interesting characters, and a really interesting group of people. Actually, it's not just
what's exciting about this is we're talking about world building, and we talk about all these important characters who are in Africa and who are part of the scramble for Africa in the late 1800s, going to the 1900s, leading up to the First World War. And I mean, there's some really incredible figures who are going to be included in the German King series. Do you want to talk about some of them? Some of the characters we're going to see on the show? Yeah, exactly. Because so what's really fun about this series is it's going to be very diverse in terms of the characters, in terms of the locations, and etc. One of the most interesting characters of like the early 1900s is Queen Victoria. She is going to be... She'll be making an appearance, or two, or three, or several. Yeah, exactly. So we'll have her. We'll have Henry Morton Stanley. Henry HMS. He's going to be in the show as well. Exactly. Queen Victoria, Henry Morton Stanley, King Leopold II is going. Many people will know him from. Well, he was the king of Belgium, but he also was he had Congo as one of his colonies, and there are a lot of atrocities committed there, which we'll briefly touch on during the duration of the series. Exactly. And and then we also went to Cannes. So the Journey King screened at Cannes, which was an incredible experience. Yes, the short film. The series is based on the short film. You saw part of it in the beginning of this live stream. Yeah. And what was amazing about it was, so a couple of things happened during the trip. I remember after one of the screenings, this guy stands up and he was like, "It's about time this happened!" And he completely broke, decor, because in Canada everyone's very serious, and he was just screaming, and everyone sort of stood up and started applauding and celebrating, because Africans really wanted to see themselves represented in a positive, robust, complex, multifaceted way, and not in a way that you typically or stereotypically see in the media and film and television. And that was really the importance of why I wanted to make this story, just to show a different side of Africa, a different side of Africans in diaspora, and just show us as we see ourselves. Yeah. And also another thing is, to talk about, I think a lot of the time when we talk about history, this goes back to what you were saying earlier. What a great opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. One of the most amazing things was that people would talk about African history, and slavery is something that we talk about quite often, right? And of course, leading up to it's almost Independence Day, and I think what's been amazing is, as I sit and really think about what the 4th of July is, and it's about a group of people who want life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, right? And the torch video, which you'll see later on, not the torch video, sorry, the Testing the Waters video, we actually filmed that at Thomas Jefferson's childhood home. And it was so historic, because you're sitting there in this place where our founding fathers were, and where they decided that they wanted liberation, they wanted freedom, and then also understanding that at the same time you had slaves, who were also working the land on land that was, inhabited previously by Native Americans, and all of these people wanted the same thing: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And it was just interesting as I was walking grounds and understanding that this is something that's universal, that we all want, and something that Rudolf Douala Manga Bell wanted for his people who were just oppressed by German colonialism. Yeah, that's really interesting. And we were talking about having people express interest. Hopefully we have a few more people that have expressed interest. Feel free to go to angel.com/GermanKing and express interest. Oh, and Jonah, just expressed interest. Thank you so much, Jonah. We appreciate you. I really, really do. Yeah. And in fact, if you guys have any comments, feel free to put them in the comment box. Smash the like button, because that was kids say. Smash the like button. Like, subscribe. We'll make that sound for you. Right, Thanks, Anonymous Future. Yes. We're that much closer to getting an embarrassing story. Not the embarrassing story. So if you guys want to hear the embarrassing story from me, feel free to express interest and go to angel.com/the German King. Yeah.
So I guess I can talk a little bit about my backstory and then how I got connected to you. So I grew up in Texas. I went to TCU, Texas Christian University, studied radio, TV, and film, and then upon graduating, moved out here and began pursuing the entertainment industry, writing for TV and film. I got a chance to work on exciting shows like Fargo and American Crime, and most recently, The Expanse. And then a few years ago, you were making this short film, and you had me check out the script, and I was just like, this is incredible. And then it started doing really well at the festival.
Circuit, we won a bunch of awards. It ended up qualifying for Oscar consideration, which was amazing. It was playing at Holly Shorts and LA Shorts, and of course we went to Cannes, and it's been an incredible journey, and one that just keeps on going. And I remember thinking, everyone kept asking, what next, and what was amazing was every screening that we went to, people kept saying, this feels like Black Panther, but if it was real. And I was like, you're right. You're right. And I realized it was my responsibility to keep telling the story so that people understood that Black Panther is an incredible, as it was, and especially for the African American community and the African community who could finally see themselves as royal, as dignified, as superheroes. We had the opportunity to show them something that was actually real. And so many parts of Black Panther were actually taken from real life stories and real life elements, like, the female warriors, the Dora Milaje. And we do later on, I don't want to give too much away about the series, but we do have some female warriors in our show. And, real kings. And you go back, 1,000 years ago, you had Mali's Mansa Musa, who was one of the, most powerful, richest men in the world. You have a man named the Lion King of Mali, who was, I think, his nephew, who was also very powerful, very rich. And you had these towns and these palaces, which were incredible, but nobody knows about these people. Nobody knows about these histories.
The Lion King of Mali, is that the
Lion King of Mali, which we do briefly talk about. That's
the basis for obviously
the Lion King. The Lion King. Some people, sorry, I don't want to get in trouble, but some people do say the Lion King of Mali, and if you do your research, which is very interesting, the Lion King of Mali inspired the show, the animated series. The movie, animated film, and the movie, The Lion King. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. But a lot of things come from Africa, and a lot of people do not know about these things.
So many interesting stories. So can you talk about how you first began looking into this, and how this kind of came about?
Honestly,
it's a good story when you laugh like that.
So let me tell you all something. Well, okay, because I think I had an audition for, it was a slave, and I was like, I'm done with this. There's more to us than playing slaves. And then I had another audition to play a commander of a military. And so I was like, it's time. I'm going to put on my very, strong accent and be American. And I thought I killed it. I thought I did an amazing job. And then the casting director at the end of it goes, Ade, I need you to sound more hood, you need to sound like you're more from the streets, what I'm saying? And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like throwing up gangsta. I'm not going to say who it is, I don't get in trouble. And she was like, but you need to fix the way you talk so it goes the way you look. And I was like, wow, what does that mean? She was like, I'm saying you'll never play a Denzel Washington, you'll never play a Blair Underwood, you'll always play someone from the streets, someone from the hood. And I think it was that moment, honestly, it was like the genesis of me saying, there is so much more to me. But this is happening to me. Imagine the thousands and thousands of other people, African Americans, people of color, people who are marginalized, who are forced to be pigeonholed in these boxes and being told, you are not good enough to play this, or you cannot play this. And I said, I need to take matters into my own hands. I need to do this, not just for me, but for future generations. People, the 12-year-old kid who didn't think he had a hero who he could look up to. In fact, the movie, the short film, when you watch it, it's like a letter to myself 20 years ago. I say things like, remember the blood of your ancestors runs through your veins. Be the light that will shine in the darkness. Light the sky with hope. It's all of these things, and I remember that's part of the reason why when we came to, I was looking. Well, when people said they wanted to see more and they wanted to see, they're like, this is like Black Panther, like Game of Thrones, and I realized, okay, well, I had originally wanted to make this into a movie, as you know, because I came to you first. So I was like. we need to do a movie. And you were like, oh, and Glenn was the first person who said, I think this is bigger than a movie. I think this is a TV series.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, no, but I think a movie is just better. And he was like, no.
Is it though?
He's like,
I come from the TV world, so
Yeah.
I'm partial.
Yeah, and he was like, just do a TV series. And I was like, and we submitted, I wrote a script for a TV series. I wrote a script for a movie, and all the feedback we kept going, and we got a bunch of we got into a bunch of festivals, got a bunch of awards for the script, but everybody kept coming back and saying, you need to turn this into a TV series because of the scope. And I said, oh, okay, and but then on a whim, I sent the script to Angel Studios, and I was familiar with Angel Studios because I was on The Chosen. I did I was a guest on The Chosen, and I just found their model so fascinating because what they did was they identified what people wanted to see. And they said, okay, do these stories actually fall in line with our vision, which are stories that are inspiring, stories that are empowering, stories that amplify light. And I remember when I saw that, I was like, that's the German King in a nutshell. This is a story that checks all those boxes, and a story that I think the world absolutely needs to see. And so I submitted it to them, and and I was like, I'm still gonna make a movie. And then I got an email back from them, and they were like, listen, due to the scope of this, are you sure you want to do a movie? Don't you want to do a TV series? And I was like, you know what? I think you're right. So here we are, and later on, I think we'll talk to Jordan Harmon about how this journey ended up coming about and turning this into a TV series. Once again, thank you to everybody who has expressed interest so far. If you want to express interest, go to angel.com/German King. Don't forget to smash the like button, like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends.
Yes.
We're doing something that I think is amazing. It's going to just help so many other people. And
Exactly. Yeah.
And on a personal note, I have an adorable nephew, and what's amazing is I remember I've seen playing with all these action figures, and I started telling him a story about Rudolf Douala Manga Bell. And what was cool was having him talk about Rudolph later on. Like, he was no longer just like a mini me with his Batmans and Supermans. But it was like, Rudolph? I'm like, yeah, that's right. Rudolph is another hero that you can look up to. So.
I mean, it's so important for people to see characters on TV that either share their story or look like them, or and so that's what I'm really excited about this, because I think like Angel has I think they've just kind of found something really good in this story, and I think this is going to make for an excellent TV series. It's like they've got already great TV shows like The Chosen, and so I think something like German King is going to be an amazing TV series for audiences all around the world.
We can't wait for you guys to see it. It's going to be amazing. But that'll only happen if you like and subscribe and express interest by going to angel.com/German King. And thank you to everybody who has expressed interest so far.
For sure.
And we are a few steps closer to me actually telling this very embarrassing story. I can't believe this might end up happening if we get 20 plus subscribers. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And you were talking earlier about how this story amplifies light, and I think that is so true when it comes to Rudolph's story. In some ways, like, he is almost like a Moses in a way. Is like he was raised in Cameroon, or
in Germany.
In Germany, was born in Cameroon, was raised in Germany, and came back to help his people.
It very, very much is a Moses story. Yes, I mean, like Moses, he was taken from his homeland, raised in foreign courts, and also, but even take it a step further. When we were in Germany, I got to sit down with members of the royal family. And Rudolph's royal family, the great grandkids, and hearing just firsthand what had been passed down that's not in the history books, but just hearing about the sacrifices this man made. And I get chills, and I get emotional hearing about it, because it's just this man, you hear about sacrifice, and it's in the Bible, you see that Jesus, he sacrificed his life for all of us, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it seems like so far away. This is 2,000 years ago, and you think nobody could possibly do that today. And you had this man who said, my freedom is not worth the lives of all these people. He was like, it is more important for me to lose my life to set other people free. And I was like, that's unreal, because I'd like to think that I'd make that choice, to be perfectly honest. I think we all do. As
I don't know if I
would.
would.
But it was wild. And he was just the sacrifice and how it was never about him. He was selfless. And it was all about saving his people, no matter what the cost. And it's a beautiful story, and I cannot wait for the world to see it.
Yeah, and that's awesome. You were talking about how you got to meet the royal family. I think we have some photos.
We've got some photos of meeting the royal family. And what was amazing about, so we went to Cannes, and shortly after Cannes, we got to spend time with the current princess and Prince of Cameroon, and we got to see all the incredible work these people are doing with like the German government, and getting them to Prince Daniel, who is an incredible gentleman, and what's amazing is all of the great grandkids of King Rudolf Douala Manga Bell are doing extraordinary things. There's a picture of his niece Sarah, me wearing my Freetown shirt because originally I'm from Sierra Leone, and they're all doing these incredible things to follow his footsteps. That's actually a picture of the descendants of Rudolf Douala Manga Bell and the Osterl family, who someone anonymous just gave us 500 donation. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you expressing interest. Yes. And what was amazing was having these two families, this white and black family, descendants of German and then the African royal descendants, coming together for the first time and actually getting to witness that. And it was such a beautiful reunion. It was like, and also what I loved about it,
thank you, Ariella.
Thank you, Ariella. What I loved about it was these people could not be more different, and you had these black and white people, but they came together, and it didn't matter what the differences were. Yeah. They were like, we're brothers and we're sisters. Yeah. And I had never witnessed anything like that. It was beautiful to see, and actually we're gonna get them on a live stream later on and actually have them talk about what that experience was. It's fascinating.
Yeah. This will be the first of many live streams that we're gonna do. So
if my story doesn't turn you guys off, I'm joking.
Jennifer says,
I'm so excited for the series. Thanks, Jennifer Ferguson. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. I'm sure she's also excited about your embarrassing story. Yes.
Oh boy, we'll see.
We have another comment. I'm excited about your short film, The German King,
becoming into
a TV series.
Thank you for Donna McCormick McGow. Yes. That's actually my sister. Hi, sis. Yes. And Thomas M. just expressed interest. Thank you so much, Thomas. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
This is everyone. Yes.
That's a hero, right? Great. Yes. Thank you, Andrea Newell. We are overwhelmed just with gratitude. The amount of people who are just so supportive and who really want to see this story come to fruition. Yeah. And honestly, we could not do this without you. I am so surprised that so many people really want to learn more about Rudolf Douala Manga Bell. Yeah. And just his story it's more than what is on paper. It's a story about morals. It's a story about justice. It's a story about wanting to do the right thing no matter what. And I think that's something that can resonate with everybody.
Exactly.
Especially, we're in dark times right now. Yeah. And I think it takes a lot of courage just to do the right thing.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, I was saying earlier how this story shares similarities to shows like The Crown and Game of Thrones. But at the heart of it, it's just a very deep story and a very just character-driven story. Rudolf Manga Bell has an amazing story. We have other characters, like I said, Queen Victoria. We have
Henry Morton Stanley, Leopold, and a couple of others. We don't want to give them away.
Yeah, we're not going to give away all of them. Everything. Right here.
So eventually you will learn about them and of course the great Rudolf Douala Manga Bell. Yeah. So and I think we're going to have. So stay tuned. Jordan Harmon is going to be joining us in a little bit. Jordan Harmon is the president.
Yes. It sounds like Jordan is ready, and we will. Take him whenever.
Hi, Jordan. Yes, is Jordan on?
Hey guys, how's it going?
The handsome Jordan Harmon.
Jordan. That's right. That was the best intro. You were speaking to nobody, and then all of a sudden I showed up. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for being here, Jordan. So tell us, what was it about the German King that you guys responded to?
Honestly, there's so much about this story that brings so many key elements of a great story to life. For me, one of the things that really resonated with me is that you had this man who was willing to give up really everything for what he believed in. And that type of dedication and heart is just something we need to hear more about in this time period. It's so important. No matter what the costs are, you make your decisions and you follow through with them and you follow through with your principles. And that was really compelling to me. The other thing that was really compelling to me was when I met you, Ade, I was like, part of what I look for is like, what is the story like, right? What are the elements of the story? But a huge part of it is who's the creator? Who's the person who's going to be driving this forward? Because it's not anybody who's been in film and anybody who has not, it's really hard. This is not an easy process to go through to create a TV series. And so when I met you, it was a much easier decision because I was just like, this is someone I want to work with. This is someone that I can immediately get behind. And so our team is so excited about the German King and the possibilities it's going to bring to a series.
Thank you. We're so excited because we have it's very like-minded, us and Angel Studios. When I started on The Chosen, I was like, this is it. They get it. I love the model. I love the fact that it's the audience that decides what they want to see. They contribute. I mean, it's such a beautiful thing. And all these stories, which are just, they amplify light. They're important. They're empowering. They're powerful. And when I saw that, I was like, no, it's them. I want Angel Studios to work with us. I think they're incredible. So
exactly. Can you talk?
I love hearing that. I love hearing that.
Can you talk briefly about the model of Angel and just how, in my opinion, how amazing it is? Well,
thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to dive into that. What's interesting about Angel Studios is when we got into this world. There's 4 brothers and a cousin that started Angel Studios back in the day, and we're about as far away from film as you could imagine in terms of our upbringing. I'm a potato farmer growing up. We did not anticipate this, but we love stories. One of my favorite films of all time is It's a Wonderful Life. And so when we got into this world where we realized there wasn't the stories that were actually going to be stories that resonated potentially with me or my values or the things that were important to me, it felt like people were telling stories that maybe were driven by other things other than telling a great story, right? And so, for me, that was really important when we started this company was how do we create content that I can feel comfortable watching with my family, right? How can we create content that amplifies light throughout the world and tells stories that are extremely values driven? And so when we started down this path, we launched obviously Dry Bar Comedy. And that's been great and successful. It gets over 1 billion views a year. And then we launched The Chosen. And we actually launched in a very traditional manner. And that it was in a subscription where you could, watch maybe one episode free. And then you could VOD or rent the rest of it. And it was doing well. And the people that watched it, they loved it. But it wasn't growing like we needed it to. And so we kept seeing a bunch of people comment on social threads saying, I want to watch this, but I can't afford it. And we're like, oh, man. And we'd be giving it out to friends and family and sending people links. And then we'd go follow up with them and they would be like, oh, yeah, no, I'll get around to it. And we're like, man, it's like pulling teeth to get people to watch our series. But people who watch they love it. And so we came up with this crazy idea that, frankly, everybody probably thought we were crazy at the time. But we decided that what if we could connect the people who can't afford it but want to see it to the people who want to share it and can afford it without them ever meeting? And so we created a free model that we basically said, we believe the content will stand on its own 2 feet. And then we're going to create extra features and extra experiences. People can pay it forward so other people can see the content for free, or they can pay it forward to create new seasons and episodes. And the content, because it's so good and compelling, we'll start seeing results from this. This was our hypothesis, and we had done a little bit of testing and whatnot. And so we launched this free model. And it exploded. I mean, it's been the last 2 years. It's just exploded throughout the entire world across all of our projects. We've passed well over 100 million viewers. And it's so exciting to see the people who are loving this content and experiencing this content. But then they're also saying, not only do I love this content, I want to go see what you're producing down the road, like the German King. And I might want to invest in that. And that's what people have the opportunity to hear is they can go in and they can express interest and subscribe for updates and know, what if the German King goes live, there's an opportunity to potentially invest and actually get a return on your investment. And so we are very, very excited to partner with you guys and help you guys through this process and create an incredible TV series that we believe, because of our model, could reach tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people, because there are so many people throughout the world who will resonate with this story of a man from a marginalized community where this story would never be told in any other way. And we feel like the most authentic way to tell it is to pass it over to the creator and say, hey, here's your vision. We're going to support you and help you get this to the finish line and distribute it to the entire world.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
Thanks,
Jordan. So well said.
And please, go to angel.com/German King and express your interest. Bart had said that It's a Wonderful Life is one of his favorite movies.
And that you have great taste.
Yes, I can.
Yes, well, it is. And it gets like, there's those pieces of content that every time you watch them, they become deeper and deeper in meaning as you experience life, right? And so that's the content that I love to support and get behind. And I think that, the principles that, Ade and his team are going to put into this incredible series will have those similar elements that they'll amplify light throughout the world, and people will feel enriched more and more every time they watch it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's
amazing.
Thank you so much, Jordan.
Yeah.
It's so good having you on.
Thank you. And please, everybody, support this project. We love what they're doing. We are so excited. Like they said, you can go to angel.com/German King and express your interest. It's because every project Angel does, we build a community behind them. And this is where Dry Bar and The Chosen and Twins and all of our other series that are now in distribution and expanding throughout the world, this is where they all started. And so it's incredible to be a part of history in the making, and we're very excited to be a part of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate it.
Really appreciate your time.
And don't forget, if you have any other questions, please put them in the comments box. Like, subscribe, share, and and don't forget to go to angel.com/German King and express your interest.
Yes. We have 13
Appreciate you guys.
people so
13
far.
people so far.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jordan.
See ya.
Take care. Good
All
seeing you.
We have 13 people so far that have expressed interest. Only 7 away.
7 away.
And,
7 away. Oh boy.
Yes,
Before my embarrassing story is revealed. Oh goodness.
Exactly. So yes, please go to angel.com/German King and express your interest. Feel free to also share this with friends, family, etc. Enemies.
Whoever you think wants to know about the story, go ahead, share, like, subscribe.
Exactly.
And I think we also have a little video from Cannes, which I don't think we've
shown.
Yeah. So if you guys want to actually see what we were up to in Cannes, right, we'll give you a little bit of
But white people, for black, everyone who's like, we didn't know that this was history.
Right,
and it's not just black history, this is history,
it's world
right?
history.
It's world history.
And one of the important things now with the oncoming of, the importance of the world recognizing, not us recognizing, but the world recognizing how important African film and storytelling is, and how important African history is to the rest of the world.
Yes.
It's often been excluded. So now is the time, and it's an educational process for everybody. Absolutely. It's not just for African people, because a lot of times the narrative is different. We don't know our own history, and we're the only people, like as an African American, we're the only ones that are kind of disconnected from our history. So we don't know our ancestors. We don't know. There's not a direct line between us and our ancestors in Africa.
Yes.
So with with African collaboration and co-production, it enables us to be able to tell our stories authentically. To be
tell
able to,
our stories
and
ourselves.
To be able to collaborate with other African filmmakers like yourself, and people where the history is brought handed down from generation to generation, and to be able to continue to teach younger generations our history. It's not a secret. It's hidden right now. It's not a secret.
It's not a secret.
History.
Yes.
And it's so rich, and it's so diverse, and it's so there's such an opportunity to tell stories that people haven't told before.
Absolutely.
And that people haven't seen before. Because Hollywood has a tendency to regurgitate the same stuff. Regurgitate the same stories, and
put different spin on it, but it's still the same story.
And it's still the same story.
Right?
And then they do the remakes, and it's like, come on, guys, let's expand all of our minds.
Yes.
Let's enrich, everybody's knowledge and everybody's span of information, and find out about these stories. So the German King is going to be a multi-series.
It's a multi-season series, and so it's funny that you mentioned Hollywood. Yes, Hollywood wants to see you in a specific way.
Right.
You know, I remember I had an audition, and it was to play an African American man, and I went in, did a standard American accent. He's the character was a lieutenant in the army, and the casting director, she looks at me and she's like, "Ade, let me tell you something." And she's a white woman from Idaho, but she's like, "You walk into my office with your dark chocolate skin and your shaved head and your wide African nose. I'm going to tell you you're never going to play Denzel Washington or Blair Underwood. You'll always play someone from the hood, someone from the street. So fix the way you talk so it goes the way you look." And I was like, but that is such a fallacy.
Right.
Just because I'm a certain color doesn't mean I can only play certain roles.
Right.
And I said, and that was really for me the genesis of saying, okay, let me start taking matters into my own hands and show the world that yes, and not say that these characters don't exist, but there are so many other characters.
So
There's a plethora, there's a kaleidoscope of different characters that
you don't want to be pigeonholed into one particular stereotype. I
Precisely.
mean, this is 2022, so now it's time for diversity. It's time for people to be able to own their identity and to be able to really embrace that character, embrace who they are, and not only portray that to the world, but be empowered by it.
That's right.
Be empowered by it. So what does your family think about you telling this story? Especially, Sierra Leone, and your dad's a diplomat. I mean, what's your family saying? Well,
but it actually tracks. And I'll tell you why. So we're all diplomats, and we all believe in, one of my favorite quotes is, the late Desmond Tutu, he said, if you are silent in moments of oppression, you've chosen the side of the oppressor. I'm paraphrasing. But, for the longest time, I was like, I can't just be silent about oppression. I can't be silent about injustice. I have got to do something about it. And, as a filmmaker, I said, I can use my art to do that. My sisters, they use their art. Well, one of them, interesting enough, I remember I called her one time and I could hear these sounds in the background. My cable wasn't working, something crazy like that. And you hear boom, boom, boom. And I'm like whining about how I can't watch Grey's Anatomy or some nonsense like that. And then she's like, is this okay? Can we talk about this later? I'm like, why, what's going on? She's like, well, the UN compound's under attack. And I kind of have to I was like, take care of that.
Right. That's a priority.
That's a priority. I'm just going to go over there and feel,
Right.
And so I realized just because you're not a diplomat, just because you're not, working in some sort of NGO doesn't mean you can't make a difference yourself.
Right.
And so I decided, yes. I mean, Bertolt Brecht says it, since we're talking about Germans, he says it best. He's like, art is not a mirror you hold up to society, it's a hammer used to shape it. And so we can use our art to shape society.
Was your dad like, why are you a filmmaker? You didn't want to be a doctor? Or
I mean, it's like doctor, diplomat.
Is this a real option?
Right. But thankfully, my late mother was an actress, and I think, and I did my first film when I was 12.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I've been doing this forever. It was called The Great Elephant Escape with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he basically, when he saw that I was very serious about it at a very early age, his only caveat was that I go to conservatory and go to one of the best and just perfect my craft.
And you'd be the best at it.
And
that's really interesting, because a lot of families, that you want your kids to, go to school and, be something that parents and grandparents can talk about.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a real career, and it's a great opportunity, and you are blazing the trail for others, and you're telling a great story. And now you've got distribution for a major television series.
And what's great, Angel Studios has been incredible about that, because for them, they look at shows or things which have potential to have a large audience. So they're not just thinking about sort of the small here and there. They're like, what does the public genuinely want to see?
Right. And what haven't they seen?
And what haven't they seen? And so when they put it out, then the public responds enthusiastically and overwhelmingly. They're like, well, give the audience what they want, right?
Right. Give them what they want.
Yeah.
Give them the cake and let them eat it too.
Give them
the cake and let them eat it too. Well, I want to. Is there a word of wisdom that you would like to leave with our audience here?
Yes. I would say, keep going. That's it.
One other question.
Yeah.
So what's next after this? We're developing this. We're going to get this on TV.
So right now, it's if you just go to angel.com /German King. You get all the information about it. You see how many people are actually interested in backing the project right now.
Okay.
And then if enough people back the project, we'll actually go to a crowdfunding phase. And so anybody can get involved. So please get involved. If you want to see the German King,
your Twitter,
and my
your
Twitter
Instagram,
and
all
Instagram
that
is
good stuff.
@Adetokumboh. So it's all the same long name.
Adetokumboh
ADE.
M'Cormack.
You are pro. Exactly.
Amazing. Love it. Yes. Quick shout out to Alessandra, who is from Brazil, listening in from Brazil. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Alessandra.
Yeah. And once again, go to angel.com/German King. Express your interest. We are up to 16.
16. Oh gosh.
So far.
No, I'm
so
nervous.
We're getting
My
close.
palms are sweating.
Yes,
Oh no.
Exactly. You better be thinking.
Am I going to share the story? Oh gosh. What's the story? Okay.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, amazing. Andre
just shared to a Facebook page. Thank you so much, Andre. We really appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
I love that quote that you said, that art is not a mirror that you hold up to society.
It's a hammer used to shape it. It truly, truly is. And I think we have the opportunity with the German King just to shape a better society. I mean, as we said, there's so much darkness in the world today.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to use our artistry. I mean, I'm an actor originally. Oh, hold on 1 second. We need more African stories from Africa, from Hollywood. At least the world will get to know more of African history. Thanks and congrats. Absolutely. I fully agree. Thank you very much, Louise and Debo.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just change the narrative, change the perspective of how Africans are seen. And also, I want us to see ourselves from a different lens. I want us to see ourselves as strong, empowered, descendants of kings and actual kings. I think it's important to also know that Rudolf Douala Manga Bell, it's not some made up fictitious story. It's actually it's based on a real person, and his descendants are alive today, continuing in his legacy and doing extraordinary work to make sure that his legacy lives on.
Absolutely. Both of my parents are from Sierra Leone. In West Africa, and the thing that people know most about Sierra Leone is blood diamonds.
Blood diamond,
exactly. So, like when you think of Sierra Leone, you maybe think of Leonardo DiCaprio,
and love Leo. But of course,
amazing actor. Yes,
but it is important. It really is important that African stories are also told by African people.
Yeah,
because this is our story, and I think we are also able to give it a more authentic perspective, and it's not just something that's hot. And this is why I once again shout out to Angel Studios. They're really giving the creators the license to do what they want and tell the stories the way that they see fit, which is incredible, because a lot of the time when you work with other studios and whatnot, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and the story changes and it's not what you want to tell. But Angel has been just incredible. Like, this is a story, and once again, they listen to the audience. The audience wants an authentic story. They want to see themselves represented. They want to see a story that is powerful, impactful, and we're excited to do so, but we can only do that if you, once again, say it with me, Glenton. Angel.com/German King.
Lots of, you'll expect lots of laser sounds and a dancing
Batman
in this show. Maybe not. We're 50-50 on how many
dancing Batmans?
Exactly. How many dancing Batmans? How many laser sounds we'll have? Exactly.
Amazing.
Yes. But I think we are up to 17.
17 already. Good
17
goodness.
People have expressed interest. So we're really excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And oh my gosh,
wow! Look at that.
Yeah, over 200 people in total have expressed interest in the German King.
Guys, thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm
overwhelmed. I really am. Thank you. And I get very emotional, so I'm trying not to cry during this live stream. So
seeing all this is incredible. Hearing what Jordan had to say about our show is also incredible. And we know that they've done it with shows like The Chosen,
which is doing so well.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a great show. It's a story of Christ.
It's a top crowdfunded
of all time. And the audience made that happen. Not the audience. You guys made that happen. Exactly. And so I think we really have to just keep listening to the audience. And once again, if you want to see some characters in our show, let us know. Drop it in the comment section, and don't forget to ask questions. We will happily answer them at the end of this live stream.
Exactly.
So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Whoa, Rebecca M, thank you so much for expressing interest. That was thank you.
$500. That's amazing.
It's amazing. Thank you,
great.
Rebecca.
And what's great about this project is like with Angel is that it's not like just like some millionaire coming in with like $10 million or whatever. It's lots of people just basically saying I'm interested in this project and expressing interest at various amounts. Although we love millionaires, so
if you're a millionaire and you want to drop
in $1 million,
we won't say no.
Exactly.
That's what we're saying.
We will not turn that down. So please express interest at whatever amount you can, whether it's $100, $500, or $1 million.
Or $1 million. We will not say no to $1 million.
Exactly, yes. Thanks so much for that anonymous expressed interest. We really appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Exactly. I think that brings us to 19.
19.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
Okay.
Are we just down to one more? Do we just need one more person before I tell the story? Just one more person. Wow. I'm nervous about this.
Exactly.
Why did I even agree to this?
He's having second thoughts right now. Serious second thoughts. Yeah.
Second thoughts.
But thank you so much to everyone so far who has expressed interest.
Okay. And actually, one more thing. I have to put this gentleman on the spot. You had a birthday recently, didn't you?
Yes.
It was yesterday.
Everyone has
yesterday.
Okay,
So everyone, please just join me in wishing wherever you are. Just wish this gentleman a happy birthday. And Andrew D. You're lucky number 20. From South Carolina. Hey. That's hard. Thank you so much, Andrew D, for being our 20th person to express interest. We really, really, really appreciate it.
And thank you for the birthday wishes.
Yes, really, of course. Happy birthday, Glenton. Yes. And what a great birthday gift to come on this and have so many people express their love, support to the German King series. Thank you very much.
Yes, this is going to be an incredible series.
Yeah,
I'm
excited. I'm excited to show it to the world, and I think you guys will be very, very happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm trying to stall because
he's like, what else do we talk about? I can't. My embarrassing story. Oh no.
Okay. So here we go. So here's I know one. So as you all know, the Glenton is a writer on my favorite show, The Expanse.
Yeah.
And I found out they're having a rap party, and I had no shame. I was like, Glenton, I gotta go to this rap party. You gotta invite me to it. He was like, hey, it's for cast and crew. I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm coming. And so I get dressed. I'm like, because my favorite actor. This is 2022 of all time. Happy birthday, Glenton! From Eclectic Bits. Happy birthday, buddy!
Thank you so much. Yes.
And it was just to meet my hero, Reg Douala, who is, as I said, one of my favorite actresses of all time. So I'm like dressed up and I'm looking good. I'm like, I'm gonna meet this woman. And so I'm like, Glenton, introduce me. And so we walk up.
I bring him over. I'm like, all right, here's your chance. I'm like, you can meet her.
And my knees start buckling, my teeth start chattering. Words just fail me. I'm like, that's literally what happened. And Trez looked at me like,
it wasn't quite that bad, but it
felt like I was like, world open, swallowing hole. I was mortified. So that's so next time, hopefully, if we can invite her on the show, I can make up for it. So this is our invitation to Trez.
I don't think she ever wants to be around.
Great. Oh no! Missed my chance.
Yeah. Hopefully we can bring her on to one of these live streams.
That would be amazing.
She's amazing. She's so incredible. And would love for everyone to meet her. But maybe we can get that and we can remind her.
No, we won't remind her. That's definitely not going to happen. So I think that's it for us. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on our live stream. This will be one of many. Yes. And we hope you had a good time. You got to learn about us and learn about the German King. Yes. And we're so excited to have you come on this amazing ride with us. Yes. Do not forget to go to angel.com/German King.
Yeah, don't forget the
website. Angel. Because I'm like still mortified from that story. Angel.com/German King to express interest.
Exactly,
and subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. Yes. Does anyone have any questions before we log off?
Yes. Please feel free to drop any questions.
Yeah.
But yes, this has been so fun.
This has been fun. This has been amazing.
Great time.
Yeah. And you guys are amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
There'll be more to come. Where would you consider filming the TV series? Would you go abroad? That's a
great question.
Very good question.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should answer that now or the next live stream. There's more.
I will say we can maybe talk about that in the next live stream, but we will say we have location, in a couple
locations in mind, which
will
are
be in Africa.
Insane in Africa. We're actually going to Africa.
We'll
going
say
to motherland.
Africa,
yes, we'll say that. We'll say that. We are planning on shooting in Africa.
We'll talk more,
and we'll talk more about that in the next live stream, right?
Exactly,
we'll talk about that. Yes,
but yeah, this is going to be filmed in Africa.
How much will women leaders be featured in the series? Heavily. Heavily.
Yes.
We have to basically talk about the fact that women were running things back in the day, and this is another thing people don't know. You know, a lot of we talk about historically marginalized people and characters, and when I did my research, I found out there were a lot of very strong female characters during that time, the late 1800s, during the scramble for Africa, even leading up to World War I. I can't say too much about it right now, but yes, female leaders, female icons, heroes, they're going to be featured very heavily. And some great, oh my goodness, great female characters. So it's gonna be amazing. Thanks for that question.
It's like obviously like Rudolf Manga Bell is gonna be the main character, but it's gonna be an ensemble. And it's gonna be some amazing female characters, some amazing other male characters that are not Rudolf. And it's gonna be incredible.
It's gonna be incredible. So, please, it's gonna be great. Is there a place where the short film can be viewed? Yes, this is the last question. And yes, if you go to angel.com/GermanKing, I believe there's a link there as well that you can view the short film. So, and then you get a better sense of the project.
You can get a better sense of the project.
And you can also express interest.
Exactly.
At angel.com/GermanKing. Yes. Thank you so much for joining our live stream, everybody. It's been amazing being here and seeing all of you.
Yes, this has been amazing. So thank you so much.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Our enemies will try to make you forget who you are.
Die beiden sind beste Freunde. Genauso wie du und Rudolf, diesem alten Vater.
Guten Tag, Kaiserin.
Ein perfekter, schwarzer deutscher Prinz. Würde das dir gefallen?
Yes, sir. I serve at the pleasure of the Kaiser.
Know that everything I did so that our people would be free.
What's the matter, Rudolf?
The Kaiser is like family. But raised as brothers to go against him.
Wilhelm is not your family. Your skin will always be the color of the rich Cameroonian soil. And they will always walk over it as if they own it.
Your family would rule under German protection. So why did you turn against us?
Your father's new ideas of independence are cancer. I fear have infected you too.
Aber mit der Hinrichtung eines Jungen startest du einen Krieg.
Wir sind schon im Krieg.
They're inside the palace.
Feigling! Lass mich sofort frei.
What you've just watched is part of our award-winning short film about Rudolf Douala Manga Bell, a heroic king, resistance leader, and martyr in the liberation of Cameroon, a German colony in Africa. It's a powerful chapter of lost history that deserves to be reclaimed and turned into a multi-season TV series so we can tell the whole story to a new generation.
The most compelling stories are true ones. You can help us tell this true story of a real-life African hero by expressing your interest at angel.com/GermanKing. The German King is the story about the brave people who stood up against oppression and rebelled against German occupation.
It's very much a Moses story. Rudolf Douala Manga Bell is an African born in Cameroon, and like Moses, he is raised as a royal in foreign courts, in his case, Germany. When he returns to Cameroon, he sees how his people are being subjugated, oppressed, and enslaved, and he rebels. He sacrifices his kingly comforts and riches for the good of his people. If you believe what Martin Luther King Jr. said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, then understanding this story of injustice and how it was overcome is important. And we see that this issue is still an issue today.
We've seen films of heroic overcoming of injustice before, but the German King offers a previously unseen view of African valor and reclaims a lost history for modern audiences.
By immortalizing these stories in film, we preserve and keep them fresh in the minds of this and future generations. Seeing Africans as royals with their culture and heritage celebrated positively instead of stereotypically, young boys and girls of color will see people who look like they do. They'll see themselves represented in robust, meaningful, dignified ways. You'll also love seeing traditional costumes, language, landscapes, architecture, the majesty and splendor of Africa during that time. And you'll also see, of course, the extravagance of the European royals and their palaces and culture.
In this series, you'll see humanity in its glorious goodness as you see the explorers and missionaries who spread the gospel and seek to end subjugation. But you'll also see those who wanted to do the exact opposite. You'll see what happens when greed and gluttony become a priority and the horrific consequences when we cease to see each other as human beings. We need your help to teach future generations what heroism looks like. Go to angel.com/GermanKing to show your support for this project now.
There's an old African proverb that says, "The tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter until the lion speaks." This project finally gives a voice to the lion. And many of our cast and crew are native Africans or descendants of Africans.
Adetokumboh M'Cormack currently voices the role of Isaac in the hit Netflix animated series Castlevania. Other acting credits, which are a ton, include blockbusters such as Oscar-nominated Blood Diamond, Battle Los Angeles, Where We Met, and Captain America Winter Soldier.
The German King series writer, Glenton Richards, is a Writers Guild Award-nominated writer, having written on the hugely successful series The Expanse, as well as having worked on shows like Fargo and American Crime.
And we have some amazing other film professionals like Emmy Award-winning editor Stephanie Filo, multiple Grammy Award winner Mark Batson as a composer.
We are so thrilled to be working with Angel Studios for distribution. Angel Studios series, The Chosen, the world's biggest TV series on the life of Jesus Christ, has generated hundreds of millions of views and over $100 million. I feel like I can identify with Rudolf Douala Manga Bell. We are both West African. We both grew up under colonial influence. I was born in Sierra Leone and I was raised in Kenya. And I attended a prestigious private English school, and everything I learned was about how amazing colonialism was, and learned nothing about the rich history and culture of Africa prior to European arrival. So very much like Rudolf, I was indoctrinated into a foreign culture with very little knowledge of my own.
Think about it. If asked to name a famous African, most Americans would say Black Panther, which is a fictional superhero. And some may say Nelson Mandela, but there are so many more real-life superheroes from Africa, and this series is going to share several other stories with you.
I grew up in Africa, and even I never knew African kings like Rudolf Douala Manga Bell or Queen Yasintewa even existed. I would watch movies like Braveheart and Saving Private Ryan and Lincoln, and I would think, I wish we had more films that celebrated our great African heroes. So that inspired me to make the short film, The German King, but it really deserves to be turned into a multi-season TV series to tell the whole story.
We want the next generation to get to see these real-life heroes who lived in Africa. This is a series we hope will empower communities around the world to celebrate and honor their African heritage.
You can join us and express your interest in helping us tell this story of courage, sacrifice, faith, empathy, and love by visiting angel.com/GermanKing now.
Though history may not be kind, let truth be a lasting guide. Change comes when you believe. Give greatness all you can give. Remember the